Shamaya, you did it.
STL Music.
Is that good? Welcome back to the show. So listen up, we back in the game. Sweep the league, we got the flame. Motivated to the fullest every single day. We wake up, get it in every way. Rockin' it 222 in the global inspiration. Talk this sports and top news, no hesitation. Sweep the league is back. We always coming back, that's a fact. Wanna tell them that STL Music, mama, we did it, where we at? Coach Jill in the house with the flow so tight. Every perfect rock stats we unite. Yeah, the best show, Monday through Friday. If this ain't different, they lying. We got the energy. When I say sweep, you say the league. Sweep the league, sweep the league, sweep the league, sweep the league. San Antonio, let's go. Sweep the league. Sweep the league. Sweep the league. San Antonio, let's go.
Hey, it's Rain Fernandez, and you're watching Sweep the League. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and Facebook at Rain Fernandez, RAYNE Fernandez.
Hi, it's Sherilyn, and you're watching Sweep the League TV. Follow me on Instagram at official Sherilyn for more content.
Hey, this is George Iceman Gervin, and you're listening to Sweep the League Radio.
It's Sweep the League TV where legends collide. If the Cowboys fall short, we'll still ride the tide. Like Jordan in the clutch or Brady's last play. We bring the fire, keeping fans in the fray. Gio and Marie calling the shots with Derek Coventry, Hall of Fame thoughts. So hit that subscribe, don't sit on the bench. Get in the game, every highlight's intense. The live stream's on, tell your friends don't delay. Like Kobe in the fourth, we're here to play. Sweep the League TV, where greatness resides. From the blocks at the drive, till my heart's on the rise. We're all in on sports, NBA, CFB, and more for fans. By fans, it's the show you'll adore.
A lot of new faces in Chief Wahoo's tribe this year as they take on the defending American League champs, the New York Yankees. And hopefully we'll have some of the names that go with those faces before their first at-bat. Anyway, listen to the roar of the crowd as the Indians take the field. Yes, sir, they love this club here in Cleveland. Just a reminder, fans, about Die Hard Night coming up here at the stadium. Free admission to anyone who was actually alive the last time the Indians won a pennant.
On to try and nail it down against Felipe Aguilar, a dangerous right-handed batter. Here's the pitch. Oh, shit.
Vaughn into the windup in his first offering. Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed. Ball 4. Ball 8. Low, and Vaughn has walked the bases loaded on 12 straight pitches. Boy, how can these guys lay off pitches that close?
All right, welcome to the Thursday throwback edition of Sweep the League. Rudy Campos Jr. coming to you live here from Sweep the League Studios. Shout out to MCS General Contracting, proud sponsors of Sweep the League. Got a pretty good announcement coming out right now and a little bit here when it comes to Sweep the League Network and I'm Refocused Radio Network. We mentioned it last night. Kind of got some more confirmation tonight as well. So sharing that with you guys in the beginning here, as you saw Bob Uecker, rest in peace, Bob Uecker. It's baseball season. Baseball season started tonight. Started today, actually, earlier today. A lot of games kicking off. You guys enjoying baseball? It's back. You know what? It's a long 162 game season, but game ones are underway, and so far so good. Giants ended up winning, so happy that we are 1-0. Probably the only time we're going to be able to be. Hopefully, we get to 500 at least a couple more times this year. But I will take a perfect record right now for my San Francisco Giants. Rest in peace, Mr. Baseball. Yes, indeed, rest in peace, Mr. Baseball. Shout out to Joel Colon. Thanks for joining us here on Sweep the League, man. Here we go. Red Sox 5, Rangers 2. Let's go. Got the Red Sox fans in here. Got it going. I know Jacob Eric is a Padre fan. I know Leha, MCS General Contracting Zone, is a Astros fan. Got a bunch of Rangers, Astros fans here. My wife is an Astros fan. I'm a San Francisco Giant fan. Quick backstory on the Giants there. My dad, rest in peace, passed away in 2018. He was a massive Willie Mays fan. He really loved, he loved the Giants. Willie Mays, Bobby Bonds, he just loved the San Francisco Giants, but mainly because of Willie Mays, because of him loving the San Francisco Giants. I became a Giants fan, followed in my dad's footsteps. Became a Giants fan even more during the Will Clark, Kevin Mitchell. Shout out Kevin Mitchell, one of my favorite all-time Giants. Matt Williams era. Love the Barry Bonds era with Jeff Kent there, and then also just everything, man. I loved it. I loved the Giants for a very long time, so they are my team, 100% here. Lockdown Spurs. Got to ask Rudy, you think SA will ever get an MLB team, or is that just a pipe dream? I'll say they probably will get an MLB team before they get an NFL team. I think I'll go as far as to say that. They'll definitely get a MLB team before an NFL team. It goes back to the whole Project Marvel thing. I mean, if you're building it for just basketball, Spurs, and updating the Alamo Dome, I mean, you're not really giving MLB a reason to come to San Antonio. You got the Missions. Now, I also wasn't part of all this, moving the Missions downtown to a baseball stadium. Now, if they build a baseball stadium somewhere in here in this whole Project Marvel thing, then it might be worth the money, because you're adding a baseball stadium. You can make it big enough to maybe house an MLB team. So it's difficult to say. But personally, Jeff, shout out to Locked On Spurs, Jeff Garcia, I'll say MLB is more likely than NFL. So scale, we do a lot of scale of 1 to 10 here. We'll say that it is we'll do a 2. I'll do a 2 on the scale, 10 being a guarantee, 1 being, oh, hell no, never, ever, ever. I'm going to say 2. I'm going to say a 2 on the scale for MLB coming to SAT. So appreciate the question. Jeff, if you're on the stream, you're going to like this. We're going to go down a massive rabbit hole, and we're going to talk about, and I might piss some people off a while. I mean, I don't think it will. It's actually something that could have happened, but it involves Tim Duncan. So we're going to go into that here, because you brought up the Tim Duncan Jokic thing. Figure, why not go down to the Tim Duncan talk here? We'll throw it back to Tim Duncan talk. Plus, we're going to throw it back to a former Spur who is not in the Hall of Fame. And I mean, if you go by stats and accomplishments, I mean, he's got Hall of Fame numbers. Why isn't he in there? We'll ask that question later as well. Our Spurs gave the Cavs all they could handle tonight too. Just came up a bit short. Yeah, I mean, they've got a really rough schedule ahead of them. So, those 5 out of 7 wins that they had prior to the Detroit game, it's just going to be, they're at 31 wins. They're one more win than that I gave them credit for. On the high end, I had them at 35 wins. So another 4 wins puts them at 35. Then, hey, I mean, you got to look at the positive sides to everything. You are 9 games better than last year's record. You're dealing with an injury to your best player. You're dealing with an injury to your second best player that's out for the year in De'Aaron Fox. I mean, if you look at the small things, then positive side is you're a +9 on the win column when it comes to last year's team. So, Devin Vassell's been balling out lately. Again, I think a lot of it may be during the whole conspiracy talk was the fact that possibly Devin he's up in his trade value. I mean, if not saying he wouldn't be a Spur, I think at the end of the day, he stays with the team. I don't think they move him at all. I think the dream of, Kevin Durant or any of these other guys coming to San Antonio, I think that's exactly what it is. I think they're settled with Stephon Castle, De'Aaron Fox, and also Wemby. So, it's I think he sticks around. I think he has a different role next year. I think more than likely you're going to see him come off the bench. Again, I love the Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson second team right there. I think that is a key factor for the Spurs to have success. So we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. They did come up short tonight. They ended up losing to the Cavs tonight. Friars are 1-0. Those damn Padres. I got a Willie Mays auto ball. Just saying. If I see it, I'm stealing it. I'm definitely gonna steal it. I'll pay you a penny a month and paying back and stuff. My grandpa was a Yankee fan. LOL, I used to watch games with him, but I became a Red Sox fan when I was 9 years old in 1986. One of my earliest memories is the Buckner game. I love baseball, man. Oh man, the Buckner game. I will say this, Joe. I'll say I am glad that the city of Boston was able to get over the Buckner fiasco. It did take them to win, a World Series. But I'm glad they're able to, Buckner was, a class act, man. You know what? Errors happen. They happen in the biggest games. You can go with the Chicago Cubs and Steve Bartman, the Bartman ball. All the way back in the day, the curse of the GOAT. There's so many things about baseball, and it was a very good thing to see Boston, the city of Boston, forgive Buckner and move on from it. One of the great guys in baseball. Mistakes happen, errors happen. It's part of the game, man. But yeah, I love for the Red Sox. I love baseball season too because we get to talk baseball a little bit more now as we hear on Sweep the League. Again, shout out Painting Corners Podcast. They've been posting on Facebook and Instagram. I believe they've been posting their comeback, and they're going to be doing a whole lot of shorts and everything for you guys on Sweep the League Network. I'm going to make mention of that here in just a little bit. Get into all your comments here. Appreciate everybody joining us here on Sweep the League Night. Raise your hand if your baseball team is undefeated. Puerto Pincho Astros, Averia, San Francisco Giants are undefeated. Hand is up. We are 1-0, and this will probably be the first and only time we'll be above 500 on the year. Rudy, are you worried about the reports out of France that Wemby did have surgery for the blood clot issue, quiet injury vibes? So worried about it, a surgery? No, because when the Wemby news came out, let me see if I can find it. I think there was a post about it. Or yeah, I'm not going to worry about it. When the Wemby news came out that he would be out for the season, due to blood clots, there was mention that there's a possibility he would have to go through surgery, that, thinners may not be enough. It may be a little bit bigger of a problem than they are kind of making it out to be. So the obvious thing is, okay, if it's bad, he's going to have to have surgery. He had surgery, apparently, according to what the French reporter did say, that he ended up having surgery. I'm not surprised by it. I'm not worried. I'm not anything. If it was a career-ending thing, we'll say it this way: if it's career-ending to where he can't play no more, I would definitely start to think it would come out in the next couple of weeks. After surgery, you got to see how you recover. You got to see, how everything's looking. Give it some time. I'm not real worried because I kind of expected it. Being that most of the time that particular blood clot is in the leg area, never really around, the heart, the arm, or anything like that. I figured that more than likely, and I think when we did that emergency Locked On Spurs episode about it, I think I mentioned in there that more than likely he's going to have surgery because of where the blood clot is located. Being that it's pretty close to the heart, it's in the upper body. Normally that type of blood clot is in the leg area. So I'm not shocked and I'm not too worried about it. I kind of expected him to have surgery. Just, kind of surprised it didn't happen right away. But again, tried going the blood thinner route, tried going, other ways before surgery, had the surgery. Is he going to be ready for Euroball? I don't know. That's kind of a touchy subject. You don't ever want to stop a player for playing for their country. International players die for their country. They love playing for it. They're diehards for it. So I'm hoping he doesn't play for, Euroball, international ball in the summer, but I think he's doing it. I think the reason why he had surgery was to try to recover in order to do it. Wemby is cooked, is according to Leha out there. We'll see. I'm telling you, right, give it about 3 weeks. If we don't hear anything in 3 weeks, I think he'll be okay. I think surgery would be, was a success and everything, so we should be okay. Nothing like winning to cure the illness. That's what, yeah, exactly. That's, like I said, they had to get that World Series under their belt in order to forgive Buckner there. So winning does cure all. I read that Wemby would be playing in the Eurobasket if he gets the green light by the doctors. Now, that's the concern I have. I think that European doctors may give him the green light. I would pretty much bet that the Spurs doctors are very much against it. But again, you don't want to do wrong by your best player. You're going to have to really evaluate him. If I'm Spurs team doctors, I'm probably at every single game. I'm probably doing, checkups on him after every single game. I'm taking as much caution as you can with him because, again, you just saw Dame Lillard, exact same thing, but his blood clot is in the leg area where that particular clot is normally at, in the leg area. So kind of a touchier subject with Wemby. If he gets the green light, does he play Euro basketball? Like I said, I think he does. I mean, with international players, you tend to play for your country and you do whatever you can to get out on that basketball court to play for them. So we'll see. We'll definitely see on that. Quick announcement here. Does involve MCS General Contracting, who is a proud sponsor of Sweep the League. So last night we made mention that, for everybody that knows, when Sweep the League started, we've always been partnered with I Am Refocused Radio, which is part of the I Am Refocused network. Now, they've done a tremendous job for the past X number of years. I Am Refocused Radio puts out a ton of great content. They have interviews with, celebrities, basically actors and actresses, major sports interviews with reporters, broadcasters. Shemaya and the group over at I Am Refocused Radio have the absolute best interviews possible, all the way to the music industry. We're talking, future Grammy Award-winning artists, all those interviews. I Am Refocused Radio. Sweep the League Network has been a part of I Am Refocused Radio for years, pretty much since the inception over at 9:30 a.m. Sweep the League was there before 9:30 a.m., but when we had our radio show on 9:30 a.m., The Answer, we partnered with I Am Refocused Radio. So we are talking, like I said, already going on 6 years for that already, and we've built something for everybody out there. That is the network, the I Am Refocused Radio Network and the Sweep the League Network combining, and we're going to be providing you full weekend coverage of all the content. When I say all content, we're talking Sweep the League TV, Grading the Market, we're talking STL 316, Sweep Unplugged. We've also we've got an MMA show that's going to be out. That's actually out right now. That's a part of the I Am Refocused Radio. You've got I Am Refocused Radio podcast. You've got other podcasts. I mean, there's just a whole lot of content. Where does MCS fit in that? Well, everybody knows now that MCS has been a great sponsor for Sweep the League. Well, the announcement for MCS General Contracting and their involvement with us here at the network, at both networks, is they are pretty much one of the umbrella sponsors. So not only are you going to see MCS General Contracting promoted and marketed by Sweep the League and the Sweep the League Network, not just with Grading the Market, Sweep Unplugged. No. They're also going to be a major sponsor for I Am Refocused Radio Network. So we were already on a national platform. Shout out to Sports Insanity Network over in New York. Shout out to our West Coast guys out there that are broadcasting us through I Am Refocused connections. But I Am Refocused and Sweep the League, this is a global platform. Starting either this weekend or next weekend, it's a global platform. That's the announcement. So I'm not saying Leha is going to go do, take MCS to Europe and go do, any type of stuff there. But when you are a part of our network, you get the VIP treatment. So again, you're going to catch MCS so many times, commercials through and through. Every show that comes out, for the network when it's being broadcast on our live TV part of the network, you're going to see those commercials. You're going to see them everywhere. Give them a follow. Give them some love. Contact them today. Locally San Antonio, local owned. They do go in the outskirts of San Antonio to help out from time to time and do work as well. They're the best in the business, 100% guaranteed and backed by us. Their word is their commitment. So, telling you right now, this is what happens when you partner up with us here at Sweep the League and I Am Refocused Radio. You don't go local. You go nationwide. You go global. You get everything. So again, that network should be starting here this weekend or next weekend. We've got enough content to fill 4 or 5 hours a day on the weekend for you guys, man. So, shout out to MCS General Contracting, man. That's big time. Love it, man. Leia's in here. One love. Shout out to both brands. I Am Refocused and Sweep the League. Man, it's getting bigger. I was shocked when I had the meeting with Shemaiah earlier, and I'm like, "Are you serious?" He says, "Yeah, I'm serious. I'm dead serious." And he gives me the eye emoji and says, "Our newest signee that we're bringing onto the network just made us global. It's just going to give it a little bit of time, but we've gone global." When I got that text, I'm like, "All right, well, okay, I don't travel overseas, so we ain't doing all that stuff." But yeah, shout out to Leha, man. Appreciate everything you do for us here at Sweep the League. Jacob Barrick in here, of course, grading the markets. We will travel the state of Texas. We've done work as far as Arkansas in the past for the prices right. We travel. There you go. So we're going to start promoting it then everywhere then. I mean, we're going to say if you guys want them to go do a driveway, all over Texas or whatever, you need to do some work all over the world, doesn't matter. We'll give you their number. We're going to have their number posted everywhere. It's going to be on the website. It's going to be everywhere. So that way you guys know who to contact. That's Christopher Leha over at MCS General Contracting. That is the big network news. Again, we announced it last night. It's coming to fruition now. Should be coming out this weekend or next weekend. So you'll probably get 4 or 5 hours once we get the channel going. We'll share it for everybody. You're going to see this ugly mug, and you're going to see all the Sweep Network, all the unplugged episodes. You're going to get the I Am Refocused podcast. You're going to get just a ton of stuff out there. And there you go, Leha. It pays off, right? Already, Joel Clothes in here. Leha, do you guys charge for estimates? There you go. It already pays off. It just pays off to hang out with us here at Sweep the League and I Am Refocused. Joel, I know Leha will get in contact with you, man. Y'all can work that out. Do a charge for estimates or whatever it is, man. See, Joel is going to need some work done there, Leha. So shout out to MCS General Contracting, proud sponsors of Sweep the League. I promised you guys that we're going to go down a rabbit hole, and we are. Tim Duncan, man. I mean, greatest Spur of all time. Arguably has to be included in the GOAT talk. I mean, the accomplishments alone, you've got to include him in the GOAT talk. 5-time champion, 5-1 in NBA Finals history. Thank you, Pop. Thank you, Ray Allen. Could have been 6-0. Never had a losing season in his entire professional career. Has the all-time winning percentage, regular season winning percentage as a player. I mean, what more can we say about Timmy? What more can we say about Timmy? What are you projecting as far as reach for the network? So, network-wise, I'll just say the talks that we've had, we like I said, we've got connections with Sports Insanity. We've got connections already in America, so we're already getting that out there for reach-wise. Now, through I Am Refocused Radio and Network, that's another outlet And you got to remember a lot of it's radio too. That I Am Refocused is on radio. So you get, wherever it's broadcast there, you also get the reach for I Am Refocused, plus the artists that are part of both networks, the connections that we've made and that Shemaya has for a long time already. You're talking about artists, musical artists and everything coming in on this, because you got to remember we have STL Music as well. The reach is global. I mean, it's going to be global eventually. That's the idea. And for those that know Shemaya, man, the kid puts his mind to something, he gets it done. He gets it done all the time. So I'll get with you more on it, Jeff. Once I get more idea on it, I'll shoot you a message, Jeff, on it. But yeah, it's the reach is going to be big. It's going to be pretty big. So I'll definitely let you know here. I'll get you the exact reach on it. Never surcharge for estimates. The thing of the past for us. Offer consultation services. There you go. They offer consultation services. If you go with another contractor, one different depending on what's being done. So there it is. The man himself, man. There's never a charge for the estimate, man. So if you want to contact him today, contact today. I'm Chris Laham over at MCS General Contracting. Peace of man. Of course, Joel is already happy about that, man. Laham's definitely reaching out there. A man for the people, by the people, man. 100% there. Getting back to the Tim Duncan thing, we're going to take our first commercial break and our only commercial break. It's halftime right now. Get it out of the way. Why? Because we're going to do a throwback here. We're going to visit something. Hopefully when you guys come back, if you haven't jumped on yet, you're not pissed off with the image you see. Why are we bringing it up? Does the landscape change? If something happened back in the day, how would it look? We'll find out here in just a little bit. Word from our sponsors, Rudy Campos Jr., Sweep the League. We'll be back. Are you looking for a contracting company that gets the job done right the first time? Look no further than MCS General Contracting. MCS specializes in top quality concrete work, including patios, driveways, foundations, and swimming pools. The team of experts are dedicated to delivering exceptional results and unparalleled customer satisfaction. At MCS General Contracting, they're not just hardworking, they're local. Based in San Antonio, they are committed to building relationships and trust within the community. That's why MCS guarantees your satisfaction. They pride themselves on getting the job done right the first time, every time. So why wait? Contract MCS General Contracting today to schedule your project and experience the difference for yourself. MCS General Contracting, building a better San Antonio, one project at a time. Proud sponsors of Sweep the League.
Some are born with silver spoons in their mouth. I was born without a house and the access is south in your mouth. Might get fixed and say some slick shit, but please know we known for fights and clips and shit we slick with. It's story time, I sound like Slick Rick, but the animals get mad at you, emotions turn tangible, and then I hope your cash can move, or fully automatic getting emptied out and taking half of you. Don't hold your nose.
Exclusive interviews with Rudy and the crew. Let's go.
You are watching Sweep the League TV. Make sure you subscribe and catch our new videos.
Sweep the League TV with Rudy, Derek, and Coach Kia. Let's get back to the live show. You are watching the best in the business.
Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan is widely regarded as one of the greatest basketball players of all time, and his achievements in the NBA speak for themselves. He was the first overall pick in the 1997 NBA draft, selected by the San Antonio Spurs. Over the course of his career, Duncan won 5 NBA championships, 3 NBA Finals MVP awards, and 2 league MVP awards, and was selected to the All-Star team 15 times. What sets Duncan apart from other first overall picks is his longevity and consistency. He spent his entire 19-year career with the Spurs, leading the team to playoff appearances in every season he played. He also helped the team to the best winning percentage in NBA history over a 19-year span.
All right, welcome back to Sweep the League. Rudy Campos Jr. Again, be sure to hit up MCS General Contracting, the absolute best in the business. Contact them today to get your free estimate, get your consultation, man. They'll work with you. They'll give you the absolute best products. They'll do the work right the first time, every time, backed 100% by Sweep the League and by MCS themselves there. Contact Chris Lehan and the boys today, proud sponsors of Sweep the League. Timmy D, arguably one of the all-time greatest players, not just in power forwards. He's the greatest power forward of all time. But we're talking one of the greatest players of all time. Why do we bring him up here? So it's Throwback Thursday. Every now and then we like to take a little break. NCAA March Madness is going on. Spurs are coming down from the season. They got the tail end. I think they got 10 games left on the year. They're like 10 games under 500. MLB just started. NFL free agencies kind of slowed down a little bit, getting ready for the NFL draft, which will bring you the first round again for the NFL draft here this season for Sweep the League, like we do every single year. We're taking it back a little bit here. So the question is, the Throwback Thursday and the throwback idea, the rabbit hole we tend to go into. Spurs won the lottery. 1997, they draft Tim Duncan. Changes the course of the franchise as we speak. As you see ahead of me right there, champs again. That was their second title. That's a printing plate from the Express News. And champs again. The course of the Spurs could be different. So let's visit something here. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the what if for tonight. 1997. What if Tim Duncan was drafted by the Boston Celtics? Boston won the lottery like they were supposed to. Rick Pitino was the coach of that Celtics team. What would the trajectory be for Boston over that 19-year career? So the players they had a very young Antoine Walker. I think he averaged 22 points a game that year. Okay. Now remember, Boston had the 3rd and 6th pick that year. Say Spurs get the 3rd pick. They're number 3. Chances are they may go Chauncey Billups. I think Keith Van Horn was number 2 that year. But, say they get Chauncey or Ron Mercer, doesn't matter. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll give them Chauncey Billups. Spurs at the time. But say this happens. You're talking about Timmy with Antoine Walker. Kenny Anderson was a part of that Celtics team. They used the number 6 pick to go get Ron Mercer. So your big 3 pretty much, and don't forget, Bruce Bowen was a part of that Celtics team back in the day. For those of y'all that might have forgotten, Bruce Bowen was a part of that Celtics team. So you're talking about Kenny Anderson, Ron Mercer, Tim Duncan, and Antoine Walker. Not too bad at the time. I'm looking up some of the players right now because there's a lot they got to make up there. You had players like Walter McCarty was a really good guy off the bench that back in the day playing there. You had a sharpshooter in Dana Barros. But that Celtics team, again, without not drafting Timmy, finished 36-46, 7 games out of the playoffs. What is the trajectory if Boston got lucky and was able to get Tim at number 1? Does Boston immediately become contenders? Now, look at the Eastern Conference. That was the year the Bulls won 62 games, 62-20. You still had Miami there. Indiana, forced to be reckoned with. At the time, the Charlotte Hornets were good. Believe it or not, the Hornets were good at one point, guys. Atlanta Hawks were good. Cavaliers, Knicks, and Nets round out the top 8 teams. We can easily say that Tim Duncan would have gotten Boston into the playoffs. But does he have the same success? Is his career that much more successful in Boston had the ping pong balls went Boston's way? I mean, your big 3 you're talking about as far as youth goes would be Timmy, Antoine Walker, Ron Mercer. Saying that if Billups got drafted by the Spurs at 3. I mean, Kenny Anderson was already, he was still really playing ball, really good. But again, does Boston wins more games, so they don't get a whole lot of higher draft picks. They'd have to draft, a little bit later in each draft because Timmy's going to make them that much better. But does Timmy still have a perfect winning record season to season? Is there ever a season where he goes below 500, doesn't have a winning record? Is there ever a season he doesn't make the playoffs? The Eastern Conference was pretty loaded back then. So I bring this up. If Boston was lucky enough to get Tim Duncan, what would the career be? Do we see the career that Timmy has right now? 5-time champion. How many times does Boston get to the finals? It's very hard to say because with Tim there, you probably don't get Paul Pierce later on. You're not drafting high enough to get a Paul Pierce. You're not, you're making trades, but you're not drafting high enough to go and get, any other guys. You're probably not able to trade. You can probably end up trading for a Garnett or a Ray Allen later on down, I'm sure. Not to say they're not going to get players, but I mean, they could get some players. But again, does he have that same success that he had in San Antonio? Had the ping pong balls go Boston's way? Rudy, easy. Spurs are out of San Antonio and moved to OKC or Seattle. Great example. I mean, David Robinson did sign that contract, Jeff, that he would only play in San Antonio. But that's a great point. I love that point because do the Spurs stay in San Antonio without Tim Duncan? They probably can go to OKC, but at the time, I think New Orleans I don't think they had a team at the time, if I'm not mistaken, because it was Charlotte Hornets. And then I think New Orleans came. I have to remember that. I got to remember. But the chances of the Spurs leaving without Tim, that's what I was going to get to as well, was the trajectory of the Spurs. Is Chauncey Billups and David Robinson and Sean Elliott, is that enough to catapult the Spurs to a title? That's the reason why I bring this up on a Throwback Thursday, was because It's one out of a million what ifs in the NBA, out of sports. It's one of a ton of what ifs. The biggest question that I ask is, does Tim Duncan become the greatest power forward of all time if he's wearing Boston green? Some signs point to no. You can get a couple of people that say yes. A lot of people will say that Timmy's success was because of the players around him. It was the perfect system. Right next to David Robinson, had amazing veteran leadership around him. Sean Elliott, Mario Elie, Avery Johnson, those guys got him to the finals, were right there with him. It was the perfect setup. Steve Kerr, Jerome Kersey. Guys that just don't jump out of the, off the tables and are sexy and exciting guys, but hard workers, NBA veterans that knew what it took to win. Many people will argue the fact that if Tim goes to Boston, Boston's probably winning titles and Timmy's dominating. And if you pull back the curtain, how do you think it happens? Timmy on the Spurs, you have David Robinson as your second best player, or 1A, 1B. Can't believe I said David's second best player, but 1A, 1B, David and Tim. Sean Elliott, who was an all-star. Veteran Steve Kerr. Mario Elie, who's already got titles along with Steve. Already got titles under their belt. They know what it takes to win. I mean, perfect situation. If he goes to Boston, is Antoine Walker still averaging 22 a game, or is he still jacking up shot after shot after shot? Frustrating because there's no identity. I mean, the big reason why I bring it up because of throwback. If ping pong balls go Boston way, does Timmy have the same Hall of Fame career? Is he considered the greatest power forward of all time? It's unbelievable how the bounce of one ping pong ball can determine the outcome of a player's career. I mean, really, think about that. I mean, the Jordan effect. Portland passed on Mike because they had Clyde Drexler. I mean, they could not have. They probably knew Mike was going to be damn good. They didn't know he'd be the greatest of all time, but they knew he'd be pretty damn good. But you have Clyde Drexler, so why were you going to go get Mike? Ping pong balls, man. One ping pong ball determines the outcome of a franchise's future. It determines the outcome of a player's career. I mean, think about the butterfly effect. How does this affect both teams? Does Boston win titles? I don't know. That roster doesn't say title contending roster. Not like it did in San Antonio. I mean, they won 36 that season. Let's say they get to 48 wins, 49 wins. We'll give them another 12, maybe 13 wins on that season if Timmy's there. But outside of that, the roster, I mean, he was in the perfect spot. The Spurs got lucky. He got lucky to be drafted by the Spurs. It was a match made in heaven. But at the same time, like Jeff said, Spurs are out of San Antonio. No Tim Duncan, you probably have no Spurs. They probably are gone. Wouldn't be the same. Chauncey doesn't become Mr. Big Shot, and they don't end up with the truth either since they drafted him in 98. And that's what I'm saying. So Chauncey goes to San Antonio because I'm assuming they would have drafted him because they had to find a replacement for Avery eventually. And I think that's probably the person they would go with was Chauncey, because you could put him in the starting 5 ahead of Avery there. But you're right. They don't end up with Paul Pierce. They still have Timmy, and they're winning games, but they go into that middle area of winning. You're not bad enough to get a top lottery pick because you're playoff bound, but you're not quite good enough to get into the finals or, somewhere along those lines. I'm sure they'd make moves, but again, we don't know. Not to mention that Boston is not for everyone. I think Timmy, knowing his personality, would have gotten out of there as soon as he could. And that brings up the other point, because then you remember he wanted to leave San Antonio. I mean, we're not going to fault him. I mean, he wanted to go to Orlando. He was already packed, ready to go. Had not been for Glenn Doc Rivers, former Spur, saying, no, family can't travel with the team on the plane, Tim Duncan would be in Orlando. He would have probably finished his career in Orlando. Then what happens? Now, if he's drafted by Boston, I almost guarantee he leaves Boston for Orlando. He would have been with the Magic. And I like what Joel said because of that reason. I mean, Boston's very hard to play in. A place like Boston and Timmy's personality, I think it was very hard to play in. Timmy's laid back. Perfect spot in San Antonio. Again, laid back city, laid back environment. But I think he goes to Orlando. But then again, if you win in Boston, you never buy another drink in your life. They will love you for life. Exactly. But that's the problem that I've got. That's the thing is, does he win in Boston? I mean, Boston went out and got Paul Pierce, and they were good. They had to go out and get Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen. They got Rondo. So, I mean, they loaded, but you don't have Paul Pierce if you have Tim Duncan, unless they're just that bad of a team. But I don't think Timmy makes them that bad. So, like I said, you're good enough to win, but you're not good enough to be title contenders. You go out and maybe get a Ray Allen, maybe get a Kevin Garnett to play next to Tim Duncan. I think they get a few titles, but it depends on the moves they make. I think they get a few titles, but I don't think that they get. I put it this way, I don't think he gets the career. I don't think he gets the career that he had in San Antonio. Nowhere near it. If they missed out on TD, then to the Spurs tank again and then draft 90, draft Olowokandi. Michael Olowokandi is one of the biggest question marks, man. Like biggest scratch. I mean, people say Kwame Brown was bad. Olowokandi has to be probably the worst first pick ever, I think. I mean, that was terrible. That was a terrible draft. I don't think the Spurs draft Michael Olowokandi that year. I'm just gonna say it. I'm pretty sure they don't. They probably end up going with Antoine Jameson or maybe a Vince Carter. At the time, they had David Robinson still, so there was no reason to go get Olowokandi. He's not a Tim Duncan, so I'm gonna say I guarantee they probably pass on Olowokandi, and they go again with Vince Carter and Antoine Jameson. You mentioned Dirk Nowitzki. I would say maybe. I mean, they were really good about drafting international guys. So, yeah, you know what? I forgot about him. Anthony Bennett was by far the worst. I'm sorry. Forgot about Anthony Bennett. Appreciate you for bringing that up. But, yeah, Anthony Bennett, that kid was the worst draft pick of all time at number 1. So, appreciate you bringing that up. Jeff, you mentioned Nowitzki. So the Spurs international scouts were tremendous because, I mean, they had Manu, they had Tony on the radars. They were known for drafting international players, but I don't think they would have taken Dirk at 1. I think they would have maybe traded back to get Dirk. Don't forget, I think Peja was in there as well. So, I mean, you could have got a shooter like Peja. But I think if they're number one, they probably end up going with Antoine Jameson, Vince Carter, somewhere in there, I think is where they go with that pick if they end up getting there. More butterfly effects. How many rings does Orlando win with Timmy, T-Mac, Grant Hill, Core? That's a massive one because, again, Timmy leaves for Orlando. Grant Hill was considered to be the next Michael Jordan if he had not gotten injured. So they all could play together. I mean, Grant Hill and Tim Duncan, they were great teammates. T-Mac would have been, the same scorer that he was. Life would have been very difficult for the NBA, not the Eastern Conference, the NBA. I'll say they probably get, man, that's a good question. I'm going to say they probably get five NBA titles in Orlando, if not more. But I'm going to put it at 5, maybe 6. That trio, knowing how young they were at the time and how much in the prime they were, if Grant Hill's not injured and Timmy does go to Orlando, again, shout out to Doc Rivers, thank you for screwing that up, then I think you probably see them winning 5 to 6 rings in Orlando, just being one of the most dominant teams that we've ever seen. That would have been a really good team. I'll be honest, I see them winning, but I don't see Doc Rivers being the coach there. Doc is a coach. He's a good coach, not a great coach. I think he ends up getting canned or leaving, or they just replace him, and I think another coach comes in and coaches that trio, and then they start to really, really ramp it up. So ask me, I think 5 or 6. Great question on that. That's a big butterfly effect. But like I said, the butterfly effect tonight is on the Throwback Thursday of Sweep the League is, would Tim Duncan be? That's the question. Would Tim Duncan be the greatest power forward of all time and one of the greatest players of all time had he been drafted by Boston? A lot of factors to weigh in there. Does he have the same career? Is he a perfect, 19-0 in his career on having winning seasons, never having a losing season? Does he make the playoffs 19 straight years in Boston? Very loaded Eastern Conference. So it would have been very difficult. Very difficult. But I do think he does make the playoffs majority of times. I don't think he gets the titles in Boston. Perfect point. Appreciate you joining us here at SR 2001. Shaq and Kobe don't win 3 in a row. They don't. That trio of Duncan, Grant Hill, and McGrady, like I said, that's 5 or 6 titles. They stop a Shaq and Kobe three-peat there. Easily. I think you guys are seeing what I'm talking about here, how this butterfly effect would work. I do think that he would still be a Hall of Famer because the skill was there, but not GOAT level status. That's what I'm saying. And that's my end game here for all this. I don't think he's GOAT status. Puts up Hall of Fame numbers in Boston, has success. I don't even know, does he get MVPs? Maybe one MVP in Boston. Title-wise, unless they add players like they did under the Paul Pierce era, yeah, they may get a couple of titles in there, but the trajectory of his career is nowhere near what it would have been in San Antonio had he been drafted by Boston. Something to think about for you guys out there. And like I said, the biggest question of the night is, does Tim Duncan have the GOAT career? Is he in the GOAT debate as a Boston Celtic? had the lottery balls gone Boston's way, does he get involved in the GOAT status? Is he involved in those talks? Is he become the greatest power forward that has ever played the game of basketball? Rudy Campos Jr., appreciate you joining us here tonight for Throwback Thursday. Got a couple more comments coming in. The Spurs end up in Nashville for the next 25 years. Great comment, because earlier Jeff Garcia of Locked On Spurs said that, yeah, more than likely the Spurs are in Oklahoma City or Seattle. So, I mean, yeah, another comment coming in. The trajectory of the lottery balls changed the landscape of both organizations. Now Boston is one of the best teams in the league. They were able to draft Jaylen Brown, get Jason Tatum. They're doing great things in Boston. But during that 19-year span of Tim Duncan's career, had he been a Celtic, had he been drafted by the Celtics, I don't think we're talking about the greatest power forward of all time. We're talking about a Hall of Famer. We're talking about a legend of the game. But I don't think we talk about him being one of the GOATs. And I don't think he is the greatest power forward of all time. That's our rabbit hole Throwback Thursday for the night. Timmy would still get 20 and 10 for 20 years, but mostly empty stats like Melo. Great comment there. Papa's just a wine dealer at best. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely so. Pop probably wouldn't be there. People will still be pissed off about Bob Hill getting fired for no reason other than just the entire team being injured that whole year. So definitely so. Shout out to MCS General Contracting. Appreciate MCS General Contracting, proud sponsors of Sweep the League. Again, you're going to be able to catch them on Sweep the League Network and the I'm Refocused Radio Network. Network is expanding. You're going to see a lot of MCS General Contracting, marketing, and promoting across the network. So be sure to contact them today for any project needs that you need done. Lehan the boys will get it done for you. 100% guaranteed by Sweep the League. And their word is the 100% commitment and guarantee by them. That is MCS General Contracting. Baseball season has started. We're going to end the show here with a baseball clip of Will Clark. And then we'll see you guys tomorrow. We were going to bring up a couple of old school NBA guys, but we'll save that probably for tomorrow's show. But again, appreciate everybody joining us here. Go to our YouTube page, search Sweep the League TV, hit that subscribe button. Go to TikTok, search at Sweep the League Radio. Be a follower on there. Appreciate everybody joining us tonight as we end the show with Mr. Will Clark.
Who was the best talker down at first base?
The best ever, made me laugh all times because he talked in the third person, was Ricky Henderson. Ricky would come down there and Ricky would be like, Ricky here? Ricky, this is in spring training when we're playing the A's a bunch, right? And Ricky's down there. And La Russa puts the hold sign on because he wanted McGuire and Canseco to get some swings in. And you can just see Ricky wants to steal a bat. Ricky's getting pissed, you know. And I'm egging him on. I'm just egging him on. I'm like, Ricky, you don't need to take that. Run, Ricky. And he about 2 or 3 pitches later, he goes, oh, hell, Thrill. He goes, Ricky gone. Ricky gone. And so I look at the dugout, right? And I go like this. I go, he's running, right? So sure enough, we pitch out, throw down to second base. Ricky slides in safe. He jumps up and he goes, I told you, Thrill. Ricky gone. Ricky gone.
Time to react, yeah, shift like a skate. Left, right, lean, that's a bucket in sight. Pull up mid, let it fly, no hype. Fourth quarter ice, keep the rock in my